Kids Playground.
Hooray!
This is the Darren Harris Podcast. Here's your host, Darren Harris.
Hey folks, what's up? Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Darren Harris, and this is my program. Today, I'm talking about Hollywood, man, and the bullshit that it's been on lately. Because Hollywood has been on the major bullshit. Let's go ahead and just start like this. What do Diddy, R. Kelly, Harvey Weinstein, and Jeffrey Epstein all have in common? Anyone? No one? Well, they all thought that their money made them untouchable. They all thought that because the power that they had and their ability to create famous people, so to speak, that made them predators. They all became predators. They're all predators. And yeah, I'm going to call Diddy a predator, man. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. I'm really not sorry, because I think what is absolutely disgusting to me is how little we think about people. How little people think about people. This man basically just was all right with human trafficking this girl he was dating, Cassie. I mean, he raped chick. I mean, he forced her to have, sex with like other dudes. Just a bunch of shit. She filed a lawsuit, and a day later, this motherfucker settled the lawsuit. It didn't say how much money she got, but he settled the lawsuit on some quick, fast, and in a hurry. And the reason why is because this motherfucker is guilty. I mean, he beat her, all kind of shit. And when you get with somebody like that, especially if you are, she was an R&B singer. And of course, you want to be famous. You want to be famous. You want to have that bank account. You want to have that stature. You want to look, you want to look that part. You want to be that person. You want to be the it person. You want to be a superstar. And along comes somebody like this who says, I can make you a star, which is absolutely true. I mean, what do you do? What do you do? Do you fall in line? Or do you say, thanks, but I don't think this is my opportunity? What do you do? The four people that I mentioned represent a trend in the Hollywood, the elite in Hollywood, and who knows how many more of these type people are in these high places. I mean, people are starting to get found out for exploiting people sexually. I mean, was it Harvey Weinstein? Nobody, holy shit. How many motherfuckers did he, tell, I'll put you in this movie, if you suck my dick. You know what I'm saying? How many people did he tell that to? I mean, there were some people who came and spoke up about it. They spoke up about it. And I just think that is just the most despicable shit that you could do. I mean, even still, dude, you got a bunch of money, right? You got a bunch of money. You could do anything you want. You could have anybody you want. You know what I'm saying? But instead, what you choose to do with your influence, your power, and your money is something that is, for lack of a better phrase, evil. It's just evil. It's just evil shit to do to people, to traffic people sexually. And now people coming out of the woodwork on Diddy saying that it happened to them. And it's a little bit of everybody. Men, women, all kinds of people like, look, some shady shit going on over there at the fucking Bad Boy Mansion. This dude is into some wild shit. I mean, real talk. I mean, Kanye is crazy, but I don't think Kanye is on it like that. I think he just in his own head. Diddy is to the point where he thinks he owns the world in his respective world. Like he could do anything. He's untouchable because he is who he is. And he made all these stars and he's got all this wealth and he's got these houses and he's super wealthy and super influential and this kind of mogul type dude. And everybody wants to be around him and everybody wants to, get his influence and have his input about what they need to do to become successful. And he really does have some good advice to become successful because he became successful in the business that he started. Now, did he do some shady shit in the business? Yeah, of course. But he did make it to some place where everybody really wants to be. There's not a lot of people, especially in the music business, that are up in that stratosphere. Like rapper billionaires. There's rapper billionaires, just rappers that are billionaires. You know what I'm saying? And that's huge. And all of a sudden I'm in Forbes list of billionaires. And all of a sudden I can move weight around the world. I can move my weight around. I can flex my influence. I could go someplace and command things to happen. And power like that gets to people's heads. Power like that gets to people. Power like that affects people. Power like that changes and corrupts people. That is if you are not disciplined. And that is very quite, I mean, I'll put it like this. That's if you don't care about people. If you don't care about people, you just care about you and what people can do for you. And that's really what it is. With very minimal return on their behalf. Maybe I'll make you a star. Maybe I'll get you this record deal. Maybe I'll put you in this film. Maybe I'll introduce you to this person that could do something for you. But you have to do something for me first. And that's just ridiculous. I don't know. I mean, there's no way to have some sort of, test to see if somebody's a fucking douchebag or not. I guess you just have to find out. But I don't know, man. I think that the wool is coming off of Hollywood. Like all of the bad shit. Nickelodeon is up. I mean, is in hot water all of a sudden, and it's just Hollywood is a bad place. It's not all the glitz and glamour that it claims to be. And like the saying goes, all that glitters ain't really gold. Some of that shit is just lead. And Hollywood is starting to look like a bunch of lead. People are leaving Hollywood. There's actors saying, I'm tired of this, and they want to retire. And not to mention all the shit that's, the striking and the AI and all these different factors that are affecting Hollywood, the entertainment industry. All the way from acting to writing to singing to rapping to beat making, everything is being affected. Everything in Hollywood is being affected. And what's happening is there's a huge shift in the intelligence of the people that are, I guess for lack of a better, trying to become celebrities. They are finding different ways. And the internet is really a lot. I mean, it's a lot to do with it. The internet is a lot to do with people making their own way, and not just making their own way, making their own fame. I mean, you don't have to sign a record deal anymore. You really don't. People are like, oh, if I sign this deal, I could get, yeah, you really could. You could sign this deal and you could catapult and be the next Drake. You really could. But you could still market yourself, collect all your money yourself on social media, and you can make a good living. A good living selling your own music, doing your own thing right here on social media. And so many people have picked up a camera and have shown the world that they too can entertain you just as good as Hollywood can for fucking fraction of the cost and no sexual favors involved. Unless, of course, you're on some OnlyFans or some shit like that. But Hollywood is hurting. And I'm a comedian. And I have comedian friends. And I have friends in Hollywood. And I haven't really talked to, since, a lot of this stuff, started popping the fuck off. I haven't really talked to a lot of people, but, I wonder what, I've been out there one time, but I've never really experienced the whole Hollywood experience. Go out there and you get whisked away. And I've got some friends that moved from New York and moved out to California and immediately became famous. They immediately became famous. And I'm not saying they had to do anything to become famous, but I'm saying I'm just having a hard time articulating the fucking phrase because I'm just baffled by the audacity of the people in Hollywood that we idolize. We idolize these people. At one time, there were so many people that wanted to meet Harvey Weinstein. He was very much in demand. Same thing with R. Kelly. Same thing. This guy was banging hanging out at the fucking high school, going to the fucking McDonald's, waiting on high school chicks, and you motherfucking R. Kelly, dude. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think the outlook for Hollywood is real positive. And I think that shit is just going to start getting worse and worse and worse. I think a lot more people are going to start turning to more independent type projects because Hollywood is hurtful. Hollywood is hurtful. It really is. It has taken people, and it's the same thing in New York, but it's so different. It's so different. It's very different. And it takes away your dream. You go out there with, big bright eyes and wanting to make a career, and you get out there and you find out that this ain't really what you thought it was going to be. And now all of a sudden, you are caught in the rigmarole of life in Hollywood. So close, but so far away. So close, but so fucking far away. What can you do? What could you do? Well, I have some advice. I have a little bit of advice. Not a lot, because, I just know for me and myself what I would want to do if I ever, the first time I'm going to meet fucking Harvey Weinstein or Jeffrey Epstein or fucking Puffy or whoever the fuck I was going to go meet. Yo, for real? If it's on some business, sure. Let's talk some business. But if you like on some like, yo, why don't you come by the yacht? You know, we'll have some champagne. You know, it's going to be some people there. I introduce you to some people. I may go to that shit. But the first time you get on some wild bullshit, I'm going to be on some wild bullshit and blow my chances, all this shit. I just blew all my chances. I'll never be a celebrity. You'll never work in this town. That'll be me. Because I knocked your fucking ass out. And it's just one of them things, man. It's just one of them things I would never bring myself. I don't care. I mean, and I guess that's why I'm not. Because some people are willing to do absolutely anything to achieve that goal, including exploit themselves, let themselves be used for periods of time, long periods of time, under the promise that I'm going to get something out of this. And a lot of times these people just get strung along, and turned out like a $2 hoe. And you scratch and scrounge and you scrape and you try to get back to that position. But you never seem to get back to that position because now there's all these obstacles in your way. Now there's all these, especially if it's somebody like a Puffy or somebody like that who actually could affect your ability to chase your dream. Because you wouldn't do what they wanted you to do. And it's so terrible that in order, a lot of people, and my heart goes out to all of them, what they had to do in order to get that deal signed, what they had to do in order to get that movie made. What did you have to do? How long did you have to do it for? This is Darren Harris Podcast.
The best music.
This is Smooth Radio.
Now, back to the Darren Harris Podcast.
Yo, what it do? I'm back. Man, talking about fucking assholes in Hollywood. I mean, for real, man. I mean, this shit just be crazy how people think they could just get away with manipulating people because they got money. Now, I've said that several times, but I really am just blown away by that shit. That has got to be, I mean, that's a bad combination. Narcissism and a lot of fucking money. Terrible combination. Terrible combination. Because those are the people who think they're above the law. They're above, they think that they're above the law. Narcissism combined with wealth, that's a horrible motherfucker right there. That's a horrible person right there. And, man, and I hate to say it, but Jeffrey Epstein, I mean, he had a bunch of parties with a bunch of people that are trying to keep the fucking door shut on that shit. I mean, even Trump, even that dude. I mean, he had more. I think he's got more pictures with Jeffrey Epstein than anybody. And I'll tell you what, if you think that he was not playing around with Jeffrey Epstein, his fucking homeboy, then you're a fucking idiot. I'm just going to call you. I'm calling you out. Then you're a fucking idiot. If you don't think this motherfucker was knee deep in some Ukrainian teenager, you are sadly mistaken. And you can tell. You could tell that. You can, and listen, this is how you can tell. Look at him and look at his wife currently. Now, he's been with her for quite some time. They have, kids. But she was young and he was old. And that's his MO. So if you think he wasn't there hanging out with his homie Jeffrey Epstein, then you're a fucking idiot. Simple as that. Just like Diddy. Everybody's got to have somebody. Everybody's got somebody. Now, see, it's different because, like, Diddy and Jeffrey Epstein, right, are different than R. Kelly and Harvey Weinstein in the respect that R. Kelly and Harvey Weinstein, they did a lot of shit all by they lonely. They did a lot of shit by themselves because they knew what they were doing was wrong. They knew that what they were doing was wrong, even though, they have all this money and, I'm a big celebrity and people love me all over but they knew what they were doing. With Diddy and Jeffrey Epstein, they too knew what they were doing was wrong. But they trafficked people. They were trafficking people. It's just the ironic, the way that it's that it kind of, the cards kind of fell like that because this guy and this guy got this particular problem, and this guy, they have this particular problem. And I think the Jeffrey Epstein thing was because everybody was underage. Because I'll tell you what, if you're a bunch of adults and you're at a party and everybody's fucking clothes are off and before you know it, everybody's fucking banging each other, that's just a fucking orgy. But when you have fucking teenagers, that's a different story. But like I said, when you're somebody like Jeffrey Epstein, I got a bunch of fucking Ferraris, I got a private island. Hey, you're kind of cute. You want to come to my private island? Of course I do. Of course. I'm 17. You were driving a fucking Ferrari and you're asking me questions. I live in a fucking hut. Or a fucking regular apartment, not necessarily a hut, but you're asking me fucking questions. Yeah, sure, I'll come to your party. When you get to the party, what do? They treat you like adults. They treat you like an adult. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? Da-da-da-da. This is my friend such and such. He does this. I'm fucking 17. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. a couple of years ago, I was watching Powerpuff Girls. Now I'm here on fucking Epstein Island. Get the fuck out of here. This shit is the most banana shit in the world. It's just bananas to me. How they just are okay with manipulating people. And not just in any particular way, manipulating people sexually. Just emotionally fucking people. Just because you can. And you discard these people and you have no idea what you've done to these people's lives. You have no idea what these people have had to deal with. Like, listen, they got the surviving R. Kelly. These people they're fucked up in the head. This guy fucked them up. I can imagine some of the fucking, victims from the other motherfuckers, how fucked up they are. Some of these motherfuckers in Hollywood, they're victims, but they're actors, so they cover that shit up well. But some people are just regular people who got taken advantage of. And now that's a piece of them that they can never get back, that somebody violated, took, and they can never get that back. That trust has been, but my thing is this. If you Cassie and you hanging around, how the fuck you not saying nothing? You know what I'm saying? How you okay with it? The first time that motherfucker hit me, I'm out of here. The first time he said, yo, why don't you fuck my man? Yeah, I'm out of here. No, motherfucker, I'm out. No. Oh, well, he held me captive. You got a fucking cell phone? I think there's three numbers you could dial on that bitch called 911. And if all else fails, you got neighbors, step your ass outside and act as black as you can and yell down the motherfucking street, "This motherfucker trying to kill me!" Something. But you're there for that promise. You're there for that promise. And as long as you're sitting next to this guy, he covers the tab and you live the most lavish life you could ever imagine. Yachts every day, the most, the best food in the world, the most incredible locations, all day, every day. And all you have to do is let this motherfucker treat you however the fuck he wants to treat you. Even if it's a piece of shit, even if it's like a piece of shit. That's the only catch. But believe it or not, there are plenty of people waiting in line for that shit. Waiting in line for somebody to just be like, yo, all right, yeah, you gonna pay for everything? Sure. All I gotta do is just sit here and fucking, give you some pussy from now on. Shit. Say less. Motherfuckers is ready for that shit. But they don't understand how toxic that is also. It's crazy. It's just, the world has just become such a toxic place. Relationships are toxic. You just find. I mean, I'm finding things out about people that I grew up not necessarily idolizing, but admiring. That just, oh my God, just blow you the fuck away. Just like, dude, come on, man. I don't know. I've said that a lot. I don't know. Because I don't know what's going to happen. Is this man's money going to be enough to get him off? And if it does, what does that say about our judicial system? Because I ain't got no fucking money. You know what I'm saying? And if I was caught human trafficking bitches, you could rest assured I'm going to jail for fucking ever. I'm going to jail forever. But will his money prevent him or give him some sort of leniency? Get some sort of leniency from the judge. Me personally, I think it's going to be real harsh. I think he's going to try. But, black folks in law enforcement, they always trying to find a way to give us the maximum amount of bullshit they can. But do you deserve it? Do you deserve the maximum amount of bullshit for trafficking people? Using people? Maybe. Maybe you do. Maybe you do. A lot of people are implicated in the whole Diddy fiasco. They was saying Cuba Gooding Jr. was on some otherness. T.D. Jakes, Justin Bieber. There's all kinds of people that say that Diddy was on some wild parties with them. Oh, yeah? Wild like how? Like grabbing booty wild? Yeah, like grabbing booty wild. Yeah. I'm sorry. I think I would have to pass. Now, a long time ago, back when like the Hamptons was a big thing and the white party was a big thing, I went to a white party in the Hamptons at Puffy's house one time, and it was actually super dope. I went to a white party that year, and I went to a Russell Simmons party that year out in the Hamptons, and both of those parties were absolutely fantastic. But that's beside the point. When I was there at the party, this was obviously before all his whole, I'm king of the world shit. Although he was well on his way to being that, well on his way. And, I found myself, me and a few friends of mine, we found ourselves at this white party. Cool. And it was cool, and everybody was there, and a bunch of celebrities, and blah, 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 blah. It was cool. But I didn't really see anything out of the ordinary. But then again, I really wasn't invited back to the top tier of, celebratory spaces. I was just down there with the general population. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like I was, hanging out with moguls or anything like that. I was hanging out with my friends. We were drinking a couple of drinks. We saw some celebrities and we left. But it is a very decadent thing. It was very decadent. I mean, it was very decadent. It was the absolute best of everything. It was the best of everything. It was great. Food was awesome. It was great. It really was. Just top notch. And that entices people. That lures people in. And that's why it's so easy for, somebody, especially like, let me put it like this. Dave Chappelle, and I'm quoting Dave Chappelle. He said it the best. He said, a woman's test in life is material. A man's test in life is a woman, meaning the things that we desire. A woman's test in life is material. So when you have, a party like Puffy or money like Puffy, you got it like that. Of course you got, you could have your pick of anybody. Anybody. And there are people that are, like I said, willing participants. And as long as, and I hate to say it, it's just going to be like, it's just going to, repeat itself. As long as this mentality in this place, Hollywood, as long as this is able to persist, then I'm afraid it's just going to continue. But like I said, people are finding other avenues. People are finding other ways to get the recognition or the notoriety, or they're just their music out the way that they want it to. I know plenty of independent artists that put out music that I download. There was I'm shouting out another guy, Booney Mayfield. Now, I'm not really sure what Boondock has been doing, but I do know that I supported him and I got his Black Kool-Aid album. But it was a dope album. It's dope. It's dope. My man Brandon, he put out a mixtape called Return to Vintage. And he got 16,000 downloads like in the first week. Hey, that's cool, man. Make your waves. You don't need these people, but they want you to believe that you do, but you don't. You don't need them. There's plenty of people making a great living for themselves. A great living for themselves, to sustain their family and have a little bit of, scratch left over. It's hard work, but anything worth having is. So be prepared. Be prepared to work your ass off. Work your ass off. Don't sell your ass. Okay? Understand, folks? If you're listening to this podcast, you're trying to do something that involves being in Hollywood in any capacity, being in that industry, but for any capacity, do me a favor. Keep your dignity. Not unless you trying to be a porn star. If that's what you're doing, then you do that. But if you're not, try and keep your dignity. All right? I think that's going to do it for this week's episode of my podcast, folks. Thanks for joining me. I want to thank my parents like I do every week because they're awesome. I want to thank my wife like I do every week because she's awesome. And happy birthday, baby. Her birthday was Tuesday. And so was my Chihuahua. She had my wife and my Chihuahua, they both have the same birthday. But happy birthday to my wife and my Chihuahua. I love y'all. And I want to thank my producer, Jesse Yandel, man, for putting me up to this. Like he does every week. And sending me things in my email to inflame me. So thank you for that. I want to thank Gentry Thomas for giving me the platform here at the Podcast Playground to put on the show that I put for you folks. And last but not least, I want to thank you guys for joining me for my podcast. Now, I talked about this subject today. You know, I don't know a lot about these people. You know, not their private lives or their personal lives or what they do. I don't know a lot about these people. But one thing I do know is that regardless of who you are and what you have no right to exploit other people. You have no right to do that. And for that, because you did what you did, you was doing what you was doing, I hope you get everything that is coming to you. I'm Darren Harris, folks, and this has been the Darren Harris Podcast. Peace.
You've been listening to the Darren Harris Podcast. Subscribe to the show, give a good rating, and everything you need to know is at DarrenHarris.com.